All right, people. So tonight's DIY, as you see, we've got the boat pretty much. If you've been watching my DIYs, if you've been tuning in to the channel, you'll notice that I've got my boat, the smoker craft, the battleship, if you will. We've got her ready to go do battle out on the water. And what I mean by that is we are going to go get on these perch and these walleye and these crappie, and we are going to do a number on them. Now, it's been really windy here in upstate New York. It's just calmed down, to be honest with you. Every time it does this at night, it's been calming down. We've been having a lot of wind, so of course the waves are really rough. I did take it out on a maiden voyage. It ran really, really good. There was a couple things I had to address. The hose needed a clamp on it, on the line going to from the fuel tank over, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But what I wanted to feature tonight was I noticed I had my buddy, he was out there helping me load it back up, and from the dock to the loading ramp onto the trailer, we got it, but it was a little bit more of a challenge than I would have liked it. So the situation is I don't want it to be every time I load the boat and every time I want to go fishing, I have to dread putting the boat back on the trailer. So what I've done to mitigate that is I put these braces up on each side of the boat, and what I had to do was I fabricated it so that it would transition from metal into PVC. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that it wasn't scratching and gouging the boat up, and it had a little bit of give to it, so that when you go ahead and load the boat, and I'm going to actually do a DIY on this, when you load the boat, you just got to take the lead off the front of the boat and pull it through the two uprights, and it will center itself, okay? And the other thing that I did was on the back of it, I really want to make a transom saver. I know you can buy them, but I have enough scrap steel and some stuff here. I'm going to make my own transom saver so that I can just pull the pin and take it in and out and throw it in the back of the truck when I'm going out fishing or just riding the boat. And this way here, it doesn't work the transom, and constantly every bump you're working the transom and it's bouncing on it. So let me give you a little look at it and we'll get right to it. Okay, so as you see, here's the PVC section here, and it goes down into actually round stock steel, and then it goes from the round stock. What I did, here's a piece of the round stock, and it's actually twice as long. It's actually twice as long as this. It's way up here. The round stock is this piping right here. And what I did was I took the lathe and I cut this out thinner, and I thinned the wall so that I could take this square stock. Now this has all been painted, but I took this square stock, and when I had the round stock on the lathe real thin, I took the on the anvil and I hit it with a hammer on this side, like this, and what it did is it squared it off. And then I drove it down over the top of this like a sleeve, and then what I did was I welded all the way around it. And then, you know, the PVC fit really nice and snug on this, but what I did was I drilled a hole and I used this Tapcon screw, and I don't want to make it so that it's so hard that, you know, you would really wrangle something up if you hit it with it. It would actually probably shatter this PVC if I hit something really hard with it, and that's kind of what I want, like a breakaway, but it's not going nowhere, that much I can tell you. But as you can see how this goes. Now this is just a piece that I had that I knurled on the lathe a while back, but you can see how it kind of goes down over it. And what I did was I drilled the hole down below like I showed you right here, and that holds it in place. But I really had to transition it, and then what I did was I was going to use some U-bolts, but what I did was I decided to just go ahead and through bolt it, okay? And as you can see, I got the right angle and I welded it up. Maybe I can get you underneath and show you. But you see how it transitions to a round piece. Okay, so that's going to be a game changer when I go to load that up. This is kind of the widest spot of the boat right here. I measured it. It starts tapering back both ways. So what I did was, as you can see, that will give just a little bit. As the boat's coming through, it should center itself. Okay, and then this way here on the back, look what I did here. I made these boards, they were 2x4s, and I made them 2x6s. As you can see, we have a little more clearance on the fenders now. Before, that was right touching, almost touching the fenders, and I didn't want to dent my boat. And I think I've got about, I gotta say it's about 2 3/4, almost 3 inches of clearance there, so I'm happier with that. The picture doesn't do it justice, but what I did was I used 2x8s and I ripped them down to 5.5, because that's what I had at the compound. And then as you can see, it lays right on the side of the boat here, okay, both sides. And then what I did in the back here is I made this bracket. And look at this bracket I built. So what I did was I used some scrap steel, and I got the angle and nipped them off on both sides. Okay, we nipped it off, then I just welded around it. Now this has to come back off and get painted, but I'm still kind of fabricating it, because what I'm going to do is come off the center here with a bracket. It's going to be another bracket like this, a box. And then what I'll do is the transom saver will go in with a pin going through it that I can take the hitch pin out. And then up top here, it's going to saddle up right here. It's going to saddle with a rubber bracket. So when I'm done, and what I'm going to do is on that bracket where the steel comes down, I'm going to weld or drill in 2 eyelets here so that I can run a bungee cord around the other side and really saddle this so that when, just like this, my hand, the crotch of my hand is in there, that's what that rubber's going to do. And it's going to keep it from every time this motor hits like this, it's not working on your transom and trying to tear that up. So that's what I did today. That was my Father's Day fun right there. And I just wanted to bring this to you so that you could see that we're still working here at the compound. We're still getting things done, and we're still making it happen. Now you can see this has that blue look to it. Here's another important thing. You can't just go ahead and weld this. You can, it's really messy. Or you can see like right down here, those really burned in nice and around there. But if you don't sand it ahead of time, what will happen is that mill scale gets in your weld. Okay, and the other thing is when you paint this, you want to take this mill scale off and then prime it and paint it. And that's what we've got to do with it. But I've been using the battery operated drill, and what I've got to do is I've got one more over here. As you see, here's the other side. Okay, but I've got one more hole to drill there on the other side of that clamp, and then we're pretty much in good shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some caps on here, and we're going to paint them orange, so that here's the other benefit to this. When you turn around and are backing this up the trailer without the boat on it, trying to get it ready to pull the boat out, you'll be able to see those, and it makes it much easier when you're in the pickup. You can see actually where the orientation of your boat trailer is going. But I don't know if anybody's seen it as far as, there's the bimini top. I got that all installed. Okay, I got the net coming off the back. I went and bought this little rod holder here. Okay, and here's what I had to do here. See this here? That little clamp right here? Now that's not an ordinary clamp. That's like for rated for like fuel injection, pressure lined. You know, it really is a band rather than them little slits in it. Those little ones with the slits are okay, but this is actually a much better hold. So it was sucking a little air here. And then what I did was I turned around, bought a brand new bulb for it. And this is what I mean. See these other ones here? This is the one that the rubber will protrude through them holes, and that's really not as good of a hold as these high pressure ones here, like the fuel injection ones. But what I did was I put this rod holder in, and it's not really for a rod, although you could use it for that, but I mounted it down here so that I could put either my American flag or my net. And then the other thing is, I was out on the boat, and one of my friends told me, you need to get those cleats on your boat so that we can put these when we're up on the dock. So here's what I did. I bought these fiber ones. I actually like these pretty good. And I went and got some stainless steel screws for it tonight. We're going to put one there, and we're going to come up here, and we're going to put one here. And when we get them mounted up, we're going to show you. But she was right. I really need these, and I really need 2 more on the other side. But at the end of the day, we're going to at least have it where when I load this thing up against the dock or someone's boat, that I'll be able to turn around and get that right. Now here's the other upgrade we did here. I put this this little 12 volt setup in here, okay? And then here, if you go forward with it, it makes that where it's got power to it. And then when you turn around and go backwards, that's your mooring lights. And I don't know if you've seen that, but here's the situation there. I got the mooring light all on. Okay, and I really like this one. I just mounted it off of where the bracket goes, where you pull the boat in. And then I made this little bracket under here out of steel. I just cut it with the plasma cutter. And then I went ahead and riveted it on. But the reason I like this situation here, this is actually glass. This is not a cheap one. This is an old one. It's probably older than me, but it's actually glass. And I think, what I did was I took the guts out of it and I made an adapter in there for an LED, okay, an LED setup. And then the other improvement I did is I put this little situation here for the anchor, okay? And that's where we're at there with that. But yeah, so this is going to be for our lights and for our spotlight if we want to do that, or charging our phone or whatever. And then what was the other thing I wanted to show you guys? Oh yeah, so over here, what I did was underneath, I've got to run a power from the battery, and I'm going to put a fusible link in there. But these here, what I did was I put this little motor style clip in here so I can plug that in to the battery. But up underneath, on that switch, there's two parts that need power. So what I do is I've got these heat shrink ones, and we're going to go ahead and put them on there. And then this one here is going to run from the battery as well. But we've got all this ready to go. This might be tomorrow's project. So, but that's the situation with the Smoker Craft, and I really hope that you you like those. I'm going to do a DIY so you can actually see how they work when we pull the boat in, and that will definitely be a one-man operation at that point. You won't have to have 5 people on the dock and someone backing you up, and you know, you won't need the whole village there to get you off the water. But that's what I got, people. And I got to get in. I got to get in the house before these mosquitoes come out. It's actually a little cool here in upstate New York. It's a little cool, but it's supposed to warm up. We're going into the end of June, so hopefully we get a little fish and some live action out there. And I don't know if you've seen them. I know I'm talking kind of fast, but look at these rod holders. I got them all sanded. They're bone white again. And yeah, we're really happy with it. We got the anchor. We got the rod pole for up front. The grapple hook. We got a lot of seating here for 4 or 5 people. We are going to have a blast. So, all right, people. This is Bry over here over at the compound, and we're making it happen, and we're having fun doing it. So, get out there and get your boat ready. Quit leaving your boat in the weeds. You know, you need to get that boat and find that love that you once had for it. If there's something wrong with it, get someone to fix it or try to do it yourself. You, the DIYer, can do it. So, let's remember, we got a lot of fun to be had out there on the water. So let's get out there and get it, people.